So many times I tell my students, you don't have to hit it like a tour pro to think like a tour pro. And specifically, what I'm talking about is a shot like this. Now, what you can see in this overhead shot that we have, not a lot of green to the right of the flag, and I don't have a lot of green behind it or in front of it. So now where my area of focus is going to be to the left, and what I would prefer is to be a little past it. I don't want to be short right, and I certainly don't want to be long right. Nothing right is going to be a good idea. You can obviously see that. And that influences the club that I'm going to hit. It also influences the shot that I'm going to hit. 140 yards is right in between clubs for me. 9-iron is about 145, pitching wedge is about 135. If I'm trying to hit this firm, we'll talk about that in a second with a different hole location, I typically am going to get a draw on it. I don't want to hit a hard pitching wedge here, even though anywhere on the green left can work. I don't want to hit a hard pitching wedge because in order for that to work for me, I have to aim off of this green, and I never want to aim at a hazard or a penalty area. It's not the way I want to do it, and it's not the way I want my students to do it. What I want you to think about is this. We're going to hit a shot that's going to go 140 yards, and it's going to start to the safe side of that green. So clearly to the left of that hole location and to the right of the bunker. Now, in order for me to be able to make a smooth, full swing with a club that's going to go 145 yards, I've got to take some distance off. And the way I take distance off is I add loft to it. So I grip my 9-iron just a little bit open. Now, what this will do is it will deflect the ball to the right a little bit, and it will add a little bit of curve to the right, which is fine for me so long as I start this golf ball to the left of the hole location. And I'm going to say in between the bunker and the flag is what I'm going to aim for. So I'm going to pick a tree back there that I see. I'm gripping this club slightly open. I'm not aiming at that tree. I'm going to swing and aim to the left of that tree because the face being open for that added loft that I'm going to get is going to deflect this ball to the push side or to the right. So I'm actually going to aim to the left of that tree back there. Club face is open. And now I can make a very solid, confident, comfortable motion swinging to the left. And what you can see is that golf ball starts out right the way I want it, and it ends up, oh boy, just barely on that green. That ball curved. Let's see you can see how that started a little bit to the left of the flag. It twisted to the right of the flag. I've got a nice birdie opportunity, and it went the distance that I wanted. Come on up to the front here, and what you can see is I was trying to get 140 out of that. I got 140.6, so I opened up the face exactly the way I want. What I didn't do was swing enough to the push side or the pull side to the left. Or I might not have aimed exactly the way I wanted. That's possible. But here's why I tell you this. What I want you to do is realize, particularly with clubs of loft, pitching wedge, 9-iron, maybe sand wedge, when you open that face, you're going to get a little bit of, let's go down the line again, or pull that full actually, Gibbsy, and show there's not a lot of curve in that shot with that 9-iron. If I'd have started that at that big tall tree that's in the back there the way I wanted to, that would have been perfect. So thank God I can hit a mulligan here. I'm going to aim even left of that now. Face is going to be open. So I'm going to swing over there and hope to get something that doesn't get to the right of that hole location. There you go. So now I've got the shot exactly what I want. That thing started out to the left side. It faded over to the right. So let's look at the trace of this particular shot. And when you see the trace, it had just a little bit of fall to the right-hand side, not a lot. It went right at the tree that I was trying to aim. That thing cut that tree dead in half. It was never in trouble. It was over land the entire time, and it never brought that right hole location into play. So what you do when you have that shot, you look at this. Don't look at just the yardage. Look at the situation. Situation, flag right, trouble right. Not a lot of trouble on the left-hand side. In between clubs, grab the club that's going to go a little bit farther, put a little loft on that thing. That makes sure it's not going to go to the pull side in this situation. It's going to fall. If it falls, it's going to fall to the right. The first one fell a little bit more than I wanted to, and I didn't start it enough to the left-hand side. The second one, I wanted to start it at the tree. I aimed way, way, way left of that one, the club face being open. All of a sudden, it started right there, pierced that tree, stayed to the left of the flag, and now I've got a good birdie opportunity. Now, let's talk about this other shot that we have. It's 136 yards, and the hole location is over on the left-hand side. Now, at 136, that's basically the same distance of what I had on this other shot. However, what I have is I have a totally different scenario. So if you look at this hole location on the left-hand side, 136 yards, what I don't want to do with this shot is I don't want to hit this past the flag, and I don't want to hit this to the right of the flag. I certainly don't want to hit it in the bunker. I don't want to be pin high right. I want to keep this underneath the flag and to the left of the flag. That's where I have the area of focus. That's where I want my golf ball to finish when I hit this shot. Now what I can do is I can go to the pitching wedge. Now again, there's only 4 yards difference in this shot, but it's a completely different shot. And many times what happens to you is you get a 136 shot, you get a 140 shot, you hit the same club. You're not really thinking about the situation and how it all lays out. Well, here's how this lays out. Now I have a pitching wedge. I know when I hit my pitching wedge hard that it tends to draw a little bit. But I don't have anything to worry about over on the right-hand side unless I hit it too far. Well, my pitching wedge isn't going to go 140 yards. It's not going to go into that bunker on the right-hand side. And I don't want to be there in the first place. What I want to do is I want to start this thing over to the right. I want to have it twist back to the left, which it will do with this club as I'm trying to hit it a little bit firmer. And if it ends up a little bit short and to the left, that's exactly where I want it to be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim at the brow of that bunker. There are 2 little trees that are back there. I'm not adjusting the face because when I swing it this hard, it tends to close anyway. Let's see what we get. And there you get. So I get a ball that's twisting now over to the left-hand side, and it's underneath the hole. So it had just a little bit of turn to the left. It moves over about 140 RPMs, not a tremendous amount, but it moves over to the left-hand side. You can see that that has just a little bit of left movement to it. And if I go at it even harder, which I'm going to do on this one, it'll turn even more. But the point is, that shot is never in trouble. And now what I have is I have a putt that's a little bit uphill, probably has a little right to left break because you can see how that green is going to move a little bit from the right to the left. And again, I was never putting myself in trouble. And that's one of the things that you want to understand. I want to get this thing on the green. I want to be able to be aggressive with this shot. I don't want to be defensive. If I pull a 9-iron out here and I have to take distance off it, now all of a sudden I'm bringing back left into play. And back left into play is where there's a penalty area. And I don't want to do that. So I go with a pitching wedge, hit this thing a little bit harder, maybe even toe it in a little bit if you want to. I don't, but you can. And now we go. So there you go. This one's even a little bit harder. Now watch what happens to this one. Right at the flag, has a little drawback. Love the shot. Never put myself in any harm's way. And actually on that one, let's come on up and look at these numbers because this is really fun. I actually hit that farther than my 135. I hit it 138, but it was hit so hard and had so much backspin that it spun back. Had a nice little draw to it. Gibbsy, pull up that trace of that shot, and you can see that golf ball started to the right of the flag. It drew to the left of the flag, and I never was in any trouble. And the reason why I'm going to be able to take advantage of an opportunity for a birdie, I've got a birdie putt there. The reason why is because not that I made a great swing, I made a great decision. And what I want you to do is realize that when you're out there playing, you can't just look at the number. What you have to do is you have to understand the situation. Where's the flag? What's my error that I don't want to have? What's the shot that I am willing to accept? How do I play there? How do I get the golf ball to do what I want it to do based on the yardage that we have and the situation that exists? One shot at 140, one shot at 136. Only 4 yards difference, but completely different shots, completely different club selections, and obviously completely different outcomes. What I get is I get a shot that doesn't bring any trouble into play in both situations. And when I do that, that's when I can shoot lower scores. That's how you can shoot lower scores.